Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first race of a championship which started at Albert Park, obviously, over half a year ago. That's right, it's October 1st as I'm recording this commentary, and this race occurred in March as this championship, the Endurance Racing League, an Australian-only championship, is following the actual 2014 calendar. So this was on the day of the Australian Grand Prix in real life. And so we've got 100% races in this format, and all of the best Australian league racers who can be bothered racing 100%, the full length race for all of the calendar on the same day as the actual Grand Prix. Should be emphasised that this was, I think, a couple of hours after the race, and most of the European ones were 3 hours before the race. So that's the main setup. We've got guys like Dregler, a champion time and time again in some Australian leagues. We've got Livo, he's always up the front. Got guys like Stalin joining later in the season, very, very fast competitor. And obviously yours truly, looking to win my first, at the time, this is the first I'd entered championship, of a full championship that is, of no assists, having raced 5 races before with no assists, and each single one of them coming second. So hopefully a win is not too far away as we go provisional pole with that previous lap. And here we're actually almost 5/10 up, so this lap looks like it could be incredible if I can hook it up. And so obviously I joined this league in March, so that's before AOR started. So yes, I have won that championship as I record this, but this one started beforehand, and we're still 3/10 up, and we just clouded the bollard. That's a shame, because that lap looked really good and possibly even going to be a 22, which would have been a PB. And obviously we botched this last one with a lockup, and that's really what's going to happen for the rest of this race, because I have not yet learned that 50-50 high-large is not a good brake setup for not having ABS. That's my main issue with no assists, so I haven't really got a problem with traction control other than in the wet, but still my main problem, as you'll see later in the season at Monaco, is definitely under brakes. And look at that 5,000th of a second over Dregler. So that's a really good way to start the season with a pole position, but obviously it's the race that gives the points, and Dregler has a lot more experience than I do with lesser in the way of assists. So it's good to put the 4-cylinder on pole position. My teammate for this season is Crosso Dog, but he's not racing this particular race. We're restarting the race on the safety car, as a rolling start, because we had a disconnection in qualifying, as is the procedure in most of my Australian leagues. And obviously that's going to be a good help down to turn 1, as not having to start the race from the grid. There's always a risk of losing the position. We've definitely gone very wide there with a full tank of fuel, and with the brakes not really to my liking, and we are struggling braking early there, and Dreg probably could have gone for a move. We've got Livo behind as well, qualifying 3rd. Really for the start of the season, the top 3 drivers are the 3 of us, and there's also some very good drives from Fox Moulds, Big Dog in the Mercedes, Cena in the other Red Bull. But it's mainly Dregler, Livo, Jacko at the front for the first couple of races, as we make a horrific mistake under brakes there, just locking up, and then just trying to stay out of the way of Livo, as he's on the outside line, and give up those positions. Obviously Kart Dude, sorry not to mention Kart Dude already, but a very rapid racer, and we see for the Precision Racing League, for example, as there's some lag there in fact, and Livo lags to the other side of me, having an opportunity down to turn 3. I was saying we've seen Kart Dude with some pretty good drives and some wins, so Kart Dude obviously a contender for wins this season perhaps. And we've hung it around the outside of Livo there, so it maintains second position, as Dregler is already off into the future, and he is much quicker in race pace than I am, so probably the last we're going to see of him, and that confirms it really as we lock up trying to catch up. That's going to allow Livo through. Yeah, we don't really fight him much because he has a lot more experience with the no assist as well. Although I think there actually are assists allowed in this racing line, and traction control on medium is as a gentleman's agreement. But I never use racing lines, and I tend to use only medium traction control when there's wet weather. And then, but towards the end of the season, I completely abandoned the idea of traction control as I progressed through AOR and my other leagues without running any assists. And here we pitted early, as I usually prefer to do, and in these 100% races I've been struggling a lot more with tyre wear as the season goes on, and also avoiding having tyres which are going off so I don't lock up so much, because I seem to be having a disadvantage using the controller under brakes compared to some of these guys. Certainly at the start of the season I thought, but then as it wore on I realised that my technique wasn't that good. As we get away with a pretty heavy corner cut there, oh dear. Anyway, we've lapped up 3rd position again. We're going to have to do an extra pit stop on most of these guys. So that's really going to put paid to our aspirations for 1st or 2nd, although I don't think we're ever going to do that in just our 6th race without assists. There is a small hope for the fastest lap though, but again, these guys at the front are no easy defeat. And here we have Kart Dude, who has yet to make the same number of pit stops as I have. Let's see what we can do about him. Ooh, got very close there as he runs wide. Looks like he's going to play the safe long game and allow me some space. 58 laps, we really don't want to be messing each other up. And then only having a real go at the end of the race. As you'll see in China and Bahrain, there were some really intense last lap battles. And it's really surprising actually to be within such confined spaces towards the end of these long races. But it does happen. Not in this race though, unfortunately. We are incredibly spaced out. And as I pitch for options to try and get the fastest lap. Although I'm not sure if I actually did it. I don't think I did. I think Dregler ended up with the fastest lap. We shall see it here. He certainly takes the first win of the Endurance Racing League series, and yet we're 1/10 off the fastest lap, and Livo as well. Very close fastest laps. Congratulations to Dregler, and I'll be getting the next video up pretty soon guys, for Malaysia. See you next time. I've been Jacko.